here's your heads up to this longer podcast. It started off with what I thought was a simple little sentence, a throwaway sentence from, as usual, another podcast. And it's ended up being a real deep dive into something that I think will be one of the most important things you will ever be able to do and have the most profound effect positively on your life, your goals, your dreams. That's big, isn't it? Yeah. Have a listen.
Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Here's a statement for you. You are a product of your experiences. By the way, it's me, Paul, and I'm really pleased that you're here listening and allowing me to share something that I heard and got into my deeper thinking a bit. Because I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast, and it's an awesome podcast. So if you get a chance to listen to that, they do go on. They're long podcasts, 2-3 hours, but there's some good stuff in there. And he was having a chat with this guy called Sam Smith, who is an awesome narrator. The things he was talking about, the thoughts and the deep thoughts he had and how he could articulate them was really good. And as they were talking about all these things, it's just this one little statement come out, and it just didn't bug me, but it gave me like a mini aha, have a think about this type experience. And it's, you are a product of your experiences. And I thought to myself, being human with our, old prehistoric brain down the bottom there, that always seems to look for our defense, fight, flight, and anything that's negative, just to make sure that we don't get eaten by those sabre toothed tigers and all that stuff. But the thing is, we may focus on the negative, but I'm going to repeat that statement again. You are a product of your experiences, plural experiences, all of them, not just the negative. And we tend to forget the good ones, don't we? We tend to forget the positive things in life, the positive events that we've had. And it's sometimes, I'm getting it's more this reptilian brain of ours getting in the way, because we need it, but we don't need it to the extent. And I want to help train it. And I'm going to go through the hows we can do that. But I want to dive a little bit deeper first, because, we've talked before about the NLP model of communication, how we take what we think is reality, the events that are happening outside us through our senses, and we delete, distort, and generalize what's coming through. We also delete, distort, and generalize on different filters. So we distort them to try to make sense. We delete them if we don't understand them. We generalize to make things, doesn't everybody always generalize? Yeah, we do, don't we? But you've got these other filters, your beliefs and values, if you remember that, your attitudes, your personalities, personalities, I hope not, personality profile types, but also your experiences. And it's as if we take those negative experiences and make them more powerful, or certainly give them a higher hierarchy in our focus, certainly our unconscious mind's focus. And I know it's all with the wonderful intention to protect us, because if we focus on the negative and try to stop those horrible things that happened, and they're not really horrible sometimes, they were just unpleasant at the time that we experienced them because of the, our wisdom that we had, the experiences that we had. And it may have, if we were a small child, a loud noise can frighten us. A dog barking can frighten us and end up giving us a phobia later on. And it's all because, we just couldn't deal with it at the time, and our unconscious mind goes, this wasn't pleasant, I'm going to protect you from this. So if I notice anything like this again, I'm going to really filter out what that reality is, so we really get it and we protect ourselves. And sometimes, it's as if the unconscious mind is protecting us too much because we've got fight and flight. But the thing is, if we use all our learnings, what do I mean by that, Paul? If we use all our learnings from every experience, then we will have that harmony, that balance, and being able to make considered decisions in the moment and unconsciously make the right decision, not have it, deleted, distorted, generalized, and then filtered again. And you see, what I think happens is sometimes is because we unconsciously have these processes that work from these negative experiences. And in my experience working with clients, very rarely, almost non-existently found a large root cause of a problem. The effect is sometimes huge on a person's life, but the actual cause of it, that root cause, is generally minute or something that we can, once we've learnt from, and that's the whole point, once we've learnt from, it just disappears. So when I see my clients and they have massive anxiety, and it's not just anxious about one thing, it used to be, but now it's spread to different contexts. Anxiety is getting in the way of everything and then creating fears, which then has a loss of confidence, low self-esteem. Now that is massive. The umbrella tends to cover everything in their life. But when we focus down on the root cause, it's generally very small. And then with the right process, to learn from that experience, it's as if the unconscious mind says, actually, I don't need to keep having these negative emotions, these negative behaviors, because I've got what I want. It's the learnings that's going to allow me to let go of the limiting beliefs, the old behaviors, the negative emotions, and be safe and comfortable. And that's what we want, don't we? We want to be safe. We want to be comfortable. So my question is, what would happen? What would happen if we consciously began to remember positive experiences? Because you've got some, haven't you? Have you? Yes, of course you have. And they don't have to be massive. But I know you've got some massive positive experiences. Those experiences when you were in the moment and enjoying the moment. You didn't think about how safe you were. You didn't think how comfortable you are. You didn't really notice, your confidence or that wonderful high self-esteem that you had right then. Because you're living in the moment. And it's positive. Now, what would happen? Imagine this. Imagine if you, like the noise that I've talked about, began to not bombard, because that's a bit too heavy, but just reminded your unconscious mind of those positive experiences. What do you think would happen? You see, just go back a little bit. You see, this doesn't mean to say that I think we should just ignore those negative emotions, those negative beliefs, limiting beliefs, those negative behaviors that we experience that, don't make us feel good. I believe we should work on those. This is what Personal Development Unplugged's all about, isn't it? Looking to build upon the positives and learn from the negatives, have a direction, have a goal in mind. Even if the goal in mind is to improve ourselves 1% a day, which would, if we just got that, we would be awesome within a month or so, let alone a lifetime, building on every experience. But anyway, I still believe that if you are feeling negative, a negative emotion, having behaviors that don't really support you, having a negative belief, a limiting belief that really isn't supporting you. I know it's doing something, at a positive intention level, but it's no longer necessary if we have those learnings. And that's the basis of timeline therapy. A bit of a side shoot of NLP, created by the great Tad James. And one of the things we say in timeline therapy is, when you have the learnings from that root cause, the first event, when you have all the learnings, that's all your unconscious mind needs to let go of the negative emotion, to let go of that limiting belief. And it happens in minutes. The emotions around those type of events disappear from your past. The limiting belief disappears from those events in your past, and therefore allows you in the now and in the future to have those learnings, and to be able to act and behave on them. And then your unconscious mind finds that actually this is a better way to be. Now, when I use those learnings, we get more protected. We're more comfortable. We're more safe. So we can allow our confidence to grow, to be competent. We can have our self-esteem begin to be what it really should be, to be empowered, and to have any positive emotion from the things that we used to be frightened of or scared of or behave negatively. And I think that's awesome. Anyway, that was a little side thing of timeline therapy, which is just an awesome thing to do. So if you're ever looking for somebody to work with, I really look for someone who's, this is my view anyway, someone who does hypnosis, NLP, and timeline therapy. That's when I think the real results go. I know there's lots of good other therapists around there, but this is my experience. And this is what this podcast is really me sharing my experience and yours through your feedback. So what is it about feedback? Have a listen in 90 seconds. Hey, I just want to take 90 seconds of your time to talk about feedback. Why is it so important to us, the podcast? Well, it's my way of really finding out what you want and allowing you to set the direction of these podcasts, to give that feedback, that interaction, to understand what your needs are, what type of processes you'd like to have talked about and given, and allow me to work on with those hypnosis tracks. It's all about being part of this community of sharing. How does it happen? Well, all you do is email me, and that email will come direct to me. It'll make me think of what you want and more. And they'll all be confidential, by the way. Everything is confidential, but it gives me a great insight to your needs and the things that I can explore with you. How do you do it? It's so simple. All you do is email me at feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. That's simple. feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. And just think, if you're worried about sharing, and I know we talk about sharing, those emails stay where they are. They don't move at all. What happens is I want to share your thoughts and share my thoughts together so we can really just get down to enjoying the world that we want to live in and make a difference. There you go, 90 seconds. There you go, 90 seconds of feedback. Anyway, we're gonna, what a funny word. Now we're going to have a but with a real and. Let's make this process really powerful. What process, Paul? Well, I'll explain. We're going back to the bit and that question. What would happen if we consciously began to remember positive experiences, positive events, times when we felt safe, comfortable, felt good, happy. We didn't realize how confident we were, how high our self-esteem was, how competent we were, because we were just all of it in one. What would happen if we did that? So this is the and. Let's make them even more powerful. And as powerful are those negative experiences. So I want you to begin to remember them. And to remember them. Now, I did say that we delete, distort, and generalize. Now, I don't want to generalize just yet. We will generalize the good ones as shortly. But first of all, I want to focus down. So I don't want to delete anything. I don't want to distort it. I want you to remember. Now, how can we do that? Well, okay. Maybe you could just stop now. Pardon? Yeah, just stop and pause. Pause for a moment and think back to a time when you really enjoyed yourself. What were you doing? Who were you with? What could you remember seeing? What could you remember hearing? And what did it feel like? You got it? And just ask yourself, how safe am I now in this memory? How comfortable? How confident? How high is my self-esteem? And what other positive emotions am I feeling right now? What would happen? What would happen? What would happen if I learnt from this too? How can I use the learnings? Okay, that's all you have to do. Just pause. And how many times a day could you do that? How long did that take? Didn't take a minute, did it? How many odd spare minutes could you just spend and remembering good things? I think you could probably do it a couple of times in the morning. You could probably, if you travel to work in the tube, the train, the subway, and things like that, you could do it for a few minutes there. Close your eyes and just remember. Maybe at lunchtime. Maybe as you just unwind after work. Maybe just before you go to bed. To sleep. Man, and then add that up over a week, add that up over a month. And that's just pausing. And I don't think that's the best way. It's a great way. But it's not the best way. But you can do the best way at another time as well. And you can incorporate doing these together in the same day. It's not this or that. It could be this and that. So it's using your imagination, your visualization. Now, I know some people say, oh, Paul Cluffy, I can't visualize. And that's okay. Because you do. I know you do. You just don't know that you do, or you don't remember when you did. And you have. But if you can just be aware of that memory, that's visualization to me. If you can just be aware and remember, and just be aware of what you saw, be aware of what you heard, be aware of how it felt. That's visualization. That's cool. And you'll find the more you do it, the more you'll get lost into that memory. And it'll get even clearer, more colourful, bigger, brighter. So many people say to me, I can't visualize. And when I work with them, I don't even tell them to visualize, but they talk in such a visual imagination and tell me what they're thinking. Now, they couldn't not have a visual picture, if you can have anything other than a visual picture, but they had visual pictures, they had sounds, they had feelings, and they were all inside. But it's like when we dream, we don't realize we're dreaming until we're not dreaming. And then we remember the dream. Or sometimes we don't remember the dream. Anyway, digression. Good old Cluffy, he went off on a tangent. I'm going to pull him back. What's another way? Well, you could discuss these with others, because we do that naturally, don't we? When someone's talking to us and they're talking about something that they did, we go, oh, that reminds me of. Oh, yeah, why don't you do it consciously, deliberately? to get people to remember the events that you felt great at. And they would have felt great at too, because you were doing it together. And again, when you do that, you can't help but visualize it. Even though you don't realize you're visualizing it, just by talking about it, you're going back into your memories. And they're going to spark your memories as they talk too. But always just as you do that, just at the end of that little discussion, that thing, to say to me, oh wow, I wonder what I can learn from this. Because once you say that, your unconscious mind has to think, what can I learn from this? What can I learn from this? So there we are. You got discussion. I mean, we do that over lunchtimes with people, don't we? But you just get a little bit more deliberate focus, conscious focus of what you want to discuss. And it's a great thing to do because they're going to be happy doing it. You're going to be happy doing it. And guess what? You'll feel those feelings again, which can't be bad. What else can you do? You got more, Cluffy? Yeah, I got more. Well, you could journal. Yes, I knew you'd say that. But you can journal. Just maybe when you're a little bit stuck for what to journal, what to write in your morning thoughts or maybe your evening thoughts. Maybe just journal and describe an event. Describe what you saw. Describe what you heard, who was there, and describe the feelings you had. And make a note of how safe you were. Make a note of how comfortable you are. How confident you were. What was your self-esteem right then? How competent were you? What were the real positive emotions? What did you believe right there and then at an identity level? I am, I can. And when you write it down, you're doing so many things. You're going to be visualizing it because you have to visualize it in a way, whichever your way is right for you. You have to visualize it to be able to write it. And then you get the muscle memory. You're getting your internal voice going. You're hitting it with every different sense you could think of, and it's going on like a loop. And when you write down, what can I learn from this? How can I use what I've learned? Awesome. I've got another way too. For some of us, and some of you, or you, do you have a gratitude journal, or do you ever take time to have an act of gratitude, to think about the things that you're grateful for? Well, as you do that, maybe you just want to think, where did those things that I feel grateful for come from? What could they remind me of? What wonderful positive events in my life that I've had with those people, those things, can I remember now? What would my unconscious mind, bring up into my memory, into my conscious thoughts now? Maybe make a picture for me. Rewind, not only just rewind, but play the movie of the things that created these thoughts of being grateful. And that gives you a double whammy, because you're getting that feeling of gratefulness, which is awesome. And you're also then going through this process of expanding, multiplying this feeling, this positive experience you've had. You could do all of those in a day, couldn't you? And it would probably take 20 minutes during the whole day. But I don't want to overwhelm anybody because doing all of those, but write them down. Write them down in your journal or on a little, I got one here, look. Well, you can't see it, can you? But it's only 4x2 card. Things I make notes on. Reminders, as they were. And maybe just write them down and put them in your diary or in a book that you read. Use them as a bookmark so you remember. So you've got pause, remember. Discuss with others and remember. Journal to remember. What am I grateful for? What created those moments? How safe was I? How comfortable was I? How confident and competent was I? What was the level of my self-esteem? what other positive beliefs and emotions did I have right then? How can I learn this? What can I learn from this? How can I use what I've learned from this in the now and the future? And you see, if you then work on clearing the negatives out of your life and add to it the positives, I got a feeling the foundation you'll be creating will be so empowering. Your goals will get bigger, they'll get brighter, they'll seem totally achievable. Dreams that you wouldn't have thought achievable will now be within your grasp, and even believe. And once you believe you can achieve, you will achieve. You'll begin to focus on the things that you want, not the things you don't want, because you'll feel safe. You'll know you'll be safe. You'll know you'll be comfortable. You'll know with confidence and competence from a place of high self-esteem. And your unconscious mind, having learnt from this, will be able to access the right beliefs, behaviors, emotions, anything that it needs to support you in keeping you safe and comfortable and achieving the goal and creating moments like that again, the positive moments that you can really enjoy. And then if you pause to remember, discuss about it with others to remember, journal to remember, and get grateful for those moments, you just keep compounding the results. So I want you to become aware, even if it's in the moment sometimes. This is an awesome thing. How do I feel? I feel really safe. How comfortable do I feel? What's the emotion I've got? What do I believe about myself? How competent am I? What's my level of self-esteem? In the moment. And that is really the most powerful. Catching things in the moment. And the thing is, the more you do this, the more it will become an unconscious habit. So your unconscious mind looks for the positive as well as the negative and takes a balanced view from all the learnings that you have. I think this is one of the most important things you could do. I really do. Maybe you have to replay it again. I know I've repeated things deliberately so a number of times because I just want you to get it. Because I didn't realize when I wrote this out and when I heard that line, you are a product of your experiences. Simple throwaway line. I didn't realize my deep dive in writing some notes and then talking and just wherever those notes led me. I think this is one of the most important things you could do. It will create a wonderful life for you and everyone around you. And that's what we want, don't we? We want to create the vibration of, great things. I want you to vibrate a high self-esteem, confidence, competence, safety, comfort, and any other of those wonderful positive beliefs and emotions by showing people. Be the change you want to be in yourself, be the change you want to see in others. Easy to say, a little bit harder to do, but when you get it, man, you are going to really get what you want. Let me know. I'd love you to let me know what you think about what I've just rambled on about. Let me know what you got out of when you paused, when you discussed it with others, when you journaled, when you look back at your gratitude. I'd love to know the effect. What was the effect on the way you were having your day, your week, and your goals or your habits? Did your behaviors change? Did your feelings change? Because I know they will. They have to. The more you visualize on the positive, you're going to have greater experiences. And then when we're being aware of them and not letting them just slip away, it's going to be awesome. And this is when we are going to enjoy every heartbeat. This is when you wake up in the morning with that corny little saying, another day in paradise. How much fun can I have today? Write that down on a card. It'll be awesome. Right, I'm going to leave you now, and I'm going to do some of this stuff very soon. For me, it's sort of wrapping around in my head already. I'm going to leave you now, have more fun than you can stand, and just stay on the line, as it were, for a little bit longer because I got a little bit of thing I want to talk to you about, the sharing and things like that and the hypnosis tracks. So enjoy with all my heart. Bye-bye now. Just before you go, if you've just got a second or two, please have a listen. Why don't you share this? Share this podcast with just one person today, and then one person tomorrow, and one person after that. What would happen if we all did that? And why not subscribe? It's so easy to do. Find the platform of your choice. If it's iTunes or it's Castbox or any others, there's loads of them. Search for either Paul Clough or Personal Development Unplugged, and then there's a big subscribe button. Press that subscribe button, and it'll be there. You get the podcast twice a week, on a Wednesday and a Saturday. Never have to look any further. And if you would, why not put one of those reviews up? Because that would be awesome, because that just moves it around this integrated field of learning, as it were, and becomes and gets in front of other people. Which is what we want, isn't it? To be the change we want to see in others and help others change to be the change they want to see in themselves. There you go. I'm going to speak to you real soon. Hope you enjoyed it. Have fun. Enjoy every heartbeat.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.